Let's get right down to it, Mr. Thiagarajan. I think when I was going through my research to interview you, the first thing that came up was about how you're projecting that Tamil Nadu will become a $1 trillion economy by 2030. How do you plan on achieving that, especially with so many predictions and projections of a recession coming?
Yeah, actually, let me clarify that. That was not my prediction or projection. My Chief Minister has set a goal.
Okay.
And that goal is that we should get to 1 trillion by 2030. Now, that goal has some inherent complexities or variables beyond our control. The first is that $1 trillion implies that we know what the dollar is going to be to some extent, right? But some of it is adjustable in the sense that there's also the whole inflation built in, and inflation differentials will also affect foreign exchange rates and so forth like that. But at the base assumption, we'd have to grow about 14.5% to where we ended 21-22, at least the latest estimate. 14.5% in notional terms, which if you assume inflation is going to be probably 5-6, which is a safe assumption because inflation is out of control all over the world. And inflation tends to be sticky. It's very hard to control inflation in the short term. So then we're really talking about 8.5%, 7.5% real growth. Now there's a good track record of this. If you look at Tamil Nadu between 2006 and 2011, despite the global financial crisis, the CAGR in real growth was 10.15 or 11%. So there is a track record of doing that. So Tamil Nadu is large enough an economy, has enough of global connect and attractiveness, particularly as we see the macro trends of diversification outside of China, but also meaningful consumption base, because our Gini coefficient is lower than many relatively well-to-do states like Maharashtra or Gujarat. We actually have a stronger percentage of the economy that's domestic consumption. So it's not an unreasonable target to get to 1 trillion on this trajectory. We already have a project underway through tender and advisory mandate, where we are going to get a more concrete, the path to 1 trillion, which industry sectors, at what years, under what trends and so forth, blueprint, But all this subject to the point you just mentioned, which is that these goals are made, on the assumption that things stay somewhat normal, right?
I want to bring it back to Tamil Nadu, and I think when we talk about the economy in Tamil Nadu, one of the aspects that some have raised concerns over, including the Tamil Nadu governor, for example, is over investments in Tamil Nadu. He's suggesting that states like Maharashtra, states like Karnataka are racing far ahead and Tamil Nadu is being left behind. What do you have to say about that?
Again, I would say the statistics indicate otherwise, right? If you look at the data, I haven't looked at it in the last quarter, but if you look at it till the June 30th quarter, I haven't seen the September 30th numbers, we were up almost 45-50% year over year. And no other state was at that pace of increase, right? Number one. Number two, the union government plays a big role in how these projects get directed, the mega projects, right? Because they give the PLI and they have their hand on the scale. I don't want to talk politics, but normally governors should not be in the fray of politics. Governors should mind administrative issues, and kind of the less they say, the more respectable and honored they are. Tamil Nadu governor, unfortunately, doesn't have these norms. Maybe he's limited.
He's overreaching.
I mean, it's not just me, right? I mean, our party MPs have written to the union government asking for his recall. That's not a mild step. So, I want to stay above the fray. I don't want to get into the trenches of political warfare with somebody who should be above politics. So I don't want to comment more than that. But I would say the statistics are that we're doing very well.
Is the concern valid, though, in the sense that, Tamil Nadu is known to be an electronics hub, and yet you had a Foxconn, a semiconductor plant, going to Gujarat?
Not every plant in the country should go to the same place, right? I would say that if you look at the market share of total Foxconn activity, I would say Tamil Nadu is in the top 1 or top 2, in the country today, in Apple phone manufacturing and assembly. So, you can twist the data any way you want. So we are accountable to the public. The public knows how much jobs are being created, how much growth is coming, how much investment is coming. I myself have been on 2-3 trips. There's huge amount of interest. The union government has their finger on the scale, and they are tipping it towards their favorite states. You can see what happened
So
how
you're saying
projects-
it's going in favor of BJP
Yeah. Of course, of course. I mean,
because this is a
Prime
concern
Minister-
Uddhav Thackeray has also
the Prime
raised, with
Minister is-
Vedanta, the semiconductor plant
I
going to
completely
Gujarat.
agree with him. I completely agree with him. And the Prime Minister is on record in assembly rallies saying that only if you vote for the BJP, we'll give you benefits. Only because you voted for the BJP, we give you vaccines. How much more blatant can you be than that? I mean, it's not like a subtle point, right?
He is, of course, also talking about development, which is what a politician should be offering to people.
Yeah, maybe you and I have different perspectives of what a prime minister is supposed to do. Not talk about which party should be elected for getting benefits. Maybe our perception of what is a prime ministerial role is different. I have a constitutional view. You may have a different view.
My point is that is there a problem in Tamil Nadu in the sense of sentiments? For example, the Thoothukudi Sterlite issue, has that dented Tamil Nadu's image as far as investments are concerned?
Listen,
Again, I bring back the Vedanta point.
I say you can have any number of hypothetical points. Bring me some statistics. Our tax revenues are up record much more than the union. Our growth rate is much higher than the Indian average. Our investments are up at least in the top 3 states of the country. You can have your own views about what you think ought to be right or wrong or philosophy or culture. That's your view. The data informs my view. If the data says something different, bring me the data and I'll respond to that.
So I'll tell you what's happened in Karnataka as well. They just recently had an investment summit. And what's emerged is that perhaps Karnataka is also losing out on investments because of the image that they have, with a rise in certain communal incidents also being reported in the state. Recently in Tamil Nadu, in Coimbatore, you had a blast that was reported. And again, questions were whether that dents Tamil Nadu's image, a state that's never really seen much of these kind of incidents of reported terror attacks as well.
Yeah, again, one blast is not the basis for anything, and maybe you're relatively young, but you may not remember that Coimbatore had a much worse series of events than this in the past. So I think this particular blast, I would venture to say that Coimbatore is probably the second hub in Tamil Nadu after Chennai.
Yeah.
Will continue to be that way.
Which is why it's a concern.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can have a concern. I'm on the ground. I'm responsible for administration. I'm saying that it will continue to show results and deliver jobs and growth faster than almost any place in India. One blast notwithstanding, or the politicization of one, it wasn't even a blast, it was a cylinder in a car going off in the middle of multiple attempts at other things.
So you maintain
that
it was
case,
a cylinder blast?
No,
because there was
maintain.
the
There's no
BJP,
maintain.
for example, the Tamil Nadu
there's no
BJP
maintain,
chief.
right? The record is the record. It was a cylinder in a car. There's video of the cylinders being loaded. There's the people who are doing it. They have been arrested. The case has been transferred to the NIA. It's not. Some facts are not in question, right? The facts are not interpretable by political parties because they feel like it. Facts are facts. After that, you can interpret the consequences, the implications, the history, the future and all that. But facts are facts. You can't interpret facts. If there's a video evidence of the cylinder being loaded in the car and then that car being exploded, I don't understand why you assume that every party can have a different view of that fact.
No, I'll tell you why. Yeah. So, I had a conversation with the Tamil Nadu BJP chief, with Mr. Annamalai, and he raised a number of questions. One, he said that this was clearly a terror attack. And I don't know whether the DMK and whether you are willing to say that this was, yes, a terror attack.
On principle, I don't deign to answer questions by Mr. Annamalai, so I will refuse it now also.
Okay. So the other aspect of the Coimbatore blast is the fact that, and there were questions raised about whether the DMK didn't take it as seriously as they ought to have.
There's no question of the DMK doing anything or not doing anything. This is not a political issue.
Sure.
A government has to take it seriously or not seriously. A government took it seriously and transferred it to NIA before they asked for the case.
Why didn't Mr. Stalin, for example, visit the blast site? And when it's referred to as a cylinder blast, the fact is that what happened and the information that we received there since of the accused.
No, your information cannot be of superior quality to what the government of Tamil Nadu receives. I don't think you have your own intelligence department,
I agree,
your own
but
NIA.
This is put out by the police as well.
No, whatever the police has been done because the administration runs the police, right? So I'm not sure why you believe you have any inside information beyond what the police has.
No, Mr. Thiagarajan, we're not talking about inside information. What I'm trying to suggest here is whether there was an attempt to downplay the blast. Like you said, this was a cylinder blast. You said Coimbatore saw something much worse.
Why should we downplay anything? The facts are the facts. I would accuse you're trying to conflagrate this into a problem that we don't have.
But this was...
Are you trying to throw smoke, throw oil on a burning fire?
Not at all, but
then,
we have to...
Then why do you assume? There was one incident, the incident is under investigation by the NIA. Why do you assume that this is the precursor of things to come? Are you trying to ignite a fire of terrorism?
The facts that have been put out as far as the investigation goes, sir, is that they were planning much bigger, that they were planning something much bigger. That's why it's under NIA investigation. What is it that you expect you or me to be able to do beyond what the NIA can do? There are two questions that come up here about the government. One is an intelligence failure, because this was sheer luck that it came to light, that this cylinder went off. That the cylinder went off. It was sheer luck.
Why is that luck? They plan to ignite a cylinder, the cylinder ignites. Why do you assume that's luck?
So you think it was a suicide attack?
No, I don't speculate on things I don't know, and that distinguishes me from you. I don't make assumptions about what it was, what it wasn't. It was an incident that is under investigation by the NIA. The NIA is not controlled by the government of Tamil Nadu. The NIA will give a report. Based on that, we can have a conversation.
But will the Stalin government, at least going by the information that we have right now, based on the investigation, deem this a terror attack?
How can we act on an investigation that is under NIA? What is it that you want us to do? Till the NIA comes back and gives us information, what is it that you want us to do? How can we, what is the point of giving an investigation to the NIA if we're going to run a parallel decision-making setup?
The BJP says the reason you gave it to the NIA is because they asked for this, they demanded it, otherwise there was no such plan.
On the record, we moved it to them before any official request came from them. That's the decision of the Chief Minister who owns the home portfolio. That's the record. I can speculate. I can say, anybody was going to do something, therefore somebody else did something. Show me a document that says that the NIA asked for it. Then we'll say, right?
So you're refusing to get into what allegations the BJP is leveling here, that, this was an attempt to protect one community, etc.
If I was to descend to the level of answering BJP allegations, I couldn't do my job. You may consider it fit for your time. It's not fit for my time. Black and white is not fit for my time.
Why is that, though? Do you not take the BJP seriously?
I don't take rabble-rousers seriously. I don't take instigators seriously. I take reasonable human beings seriously. I don't consider the individual you mentioned as one of them, so I don't answer any of his questions.
There is an argument, however, that the BJP, Mr. Annamalai, they're spreading their wings in the state of Tamil Nadu. Do you believe that to be a reality?
No, because time will tell. I don't believe it. They may say whatever they want. Time will tell.
As far as the South is concerned, South India, we had a bypoll in Telangana recently where the Congress was pushed essentially to third place. The BJP is coming to second place.
To comment about Telangana?
So the question...
No, you ask me about Tamil Nadu. I am not in the business of commenting about other states or other elections. Right?
Fair enough. Sticking to Tamil Nadu, another aspect, another issue that I wanted to bring up with you, Mr. Thiagarajan, is about comments that have been made recently by members of the DMK, like Mr. Raja. And this became, of course, a huge national talking point when he said that if you're a Hindu, you're a Shudra. And this has led to questions about whether the DMK is anti-Hindu. What do you have to say about that?
I can't speak for others. I am a practicing Hindu. My forefathers have done more for the temples and the people who practice Hinduism in Tamil Nadu than almost anybody I know, and certainly anybody in the BJP. If I am successful in the DMK and I get such great responsibility in such little time of being in public life, how is it possible that the DMK is an anti-Hindu party? Right? So I'm not going to get into that.
But the comment, did it hurt your sentiments as a Hindu?
I don't even remember what the comment was. I'm not in the business of following other people's comments and responding to them. If it's policy, if it's related to the government, if it's related to finance, you ask me.
But it is related to your party, sir.
The party is the party, the government is the government. I'm nobody in the party. I'm not even an office bearer in the party. I'm a member in the party. I'm not a party spokesperson.
But doesn't it concern you being a member of the party? That comments like this are made, and not by someone who's in the cadre. You've got a member of parliament.
And I am a minister in the government. You ask me anything about the government, it's my job to answer because I am a minister in the government. You ask me about the party, I am not qualified to answer. I am not even an office bearer in the party. I don't even have the lowest office. I'm simply a member of the party.
Okay.
The party will answer for the party. I answer for the government based on the portfolios that I hold.
Let me ask you then, as a practicing Hindu, does it hurt your sentiment?
I don't worry. My faith is very deep. I don't worry what anybody else says, whether they're BJP or the ADMK or the DMK or the Congress. My faith is so deeply rooted in me that it's not affected by the comments of anybody else. I don't need anybody else to wish me. I don't care what anybody else says against me. My faith is part of who I am. It's a relationship between me and the Almighty. And I don't really pay attention to what anybody else says about it.
Okay. Recently, in fact, just yesterday, you had the Supreme Court taking up the issue of the EWS quota. And your party, the DMK, has taken a very, very clear stand on it. You had Mr. Stalin put out a statement yesterday where he said that we've taken, it's been a setback, really, in the fight for social justice. Why is it that the DMK believes that a pro-poor quota that's over and above your caste quota is something that affects social justice?
Again, I am only a member of the party. I am not an office bearer. I simply don't have the standing or the mandate to second guess or issue statements after the leader of the party has issued a statement. I'll give you a personal opinion if you want.
Sure.
At a personal opinion, I worry that this judgment contradicts previous judgments of the Supreme Court in two clear ways. The first way, previous judgments have said that you cannot have reservation on the basis of economic conditions alone. This contradicts that. The second is that the total quota of reservations should not exceed a certain percentage.
Yeah.
This contradicts that. So I say, as a citizen, as an administrator, as I have said in multiple contexts on multiple occasions, the great trouble we have as administrators is that we are seeing Supreme Court judgments that are contradictory to each other. And so I'm sitting on the GST Council, right? In the GST Council, we have a group of ministers on how to apply GST to casinos, horse racing, and online gaming. The whole committee is frozen. The GOM is frozen because there are like 20 cases from 1960s till this March, where the definition of what is considered a game of skill and game of chance and whether horse racing falls into A or B, there are conflicting opinions coming out of Supreme Court judgments. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you have Supreme Court judgments that are contradictory to each other, now you find it difficult to administer a government because you don't know which one to follow at what time, right? Case in point, of course, a much less consequential issue on how to tax horse racing. Is it a game of skill or game of chance? How to tax online rummy? Is it a game of skill or game of chance? But this same principle applies here also. In fact, I just was in Chennai. I'll give you the context. Sure. I was invited to a book by a former judge of the Madras High Court, Justice A.K. Rajan. And one of the other guests of honor was a retired Supreme Court judge. And the title of the book is "The Constitution is Not What It Is." The Constitution of India is not what it is. And it's a riff-off of a statement made by a very senior judge in the US, who at one point has said, the Constitution of the United States is not what it is what we say it is. Basically, that's the job of the judges, to interpret the Constitution. Sure. That is the weighty responsibility that lies on the shoulders of the judiciary. Now, if the judiciary doesn't follow precedent, and then I cited an example, actually, I cited an actual instance. I used to live in the US, as you may know. In the Jersey City Courthouse, which is then one of the eminent buildings, there is an inscription, stone inscription. And it says, "Precedent makes law. If you stand well, stand still." Right? Always check for the precedent before you make a decision, and be very reluctant to overstep or upturn it because you've now created a new law. That's basically the implication of that. Precedent makes law. If you stand well, stand still. Be very reluctant to go against precedent because you're upsetting a lot of other things. Right? That doesn't seem to be happening today. Right? I'm saying all the way from horse racing and online rummy 2 reservations.
It's been an interesting conversation, Mr. Thiagarajan. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope soon that I get to join you in Madurai, where we can perhaps have some coin parotas and curry and enjoy a much more interesting conversation over food. But thank you so much for joining us here on India Today.
Yeah, I remember the last time you were there was before one of these elections, right?
Before the elections, before you became a finance minister. Well, it's nice to see that we still get to catch up.
Yeah, and so I'm happy to see you here in Delhi and hopefully back in Madurai again.
For sure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you can catch the full conversation with the Tamil Nadu Finance Minister here on India Today's social media handles. That's all we have time for. Thanks very much for tuning in. Coming up on the other side is our sports special, Battle of the Champions.